while we've been talking about consciousness, you spoke about how you can take a test, you can track the activity in the brain, and you can accurately measure what someone's going to do right before they do
Yes,
it.
you can.
Let's bring in the idea of free will.
Right.
Do you have agency over your actions? Do you have free will?
Well, again, this could be a whole 2-hour conversation in itself, and we'd still not be done. But let's talk about this. So first of all, the whole idea of being a conscious agent, yes, presumes free will, because otherwise it makes no sense, right? And so the idea is, are we watching a movie and everything has already happened and we're just acting out what has already happened? We have no degrees of freedom, right? We're just tied by the past and the present. Or can we make a genuine decision? Here's the situation, but I, as a free agent, can make a genuine decision. And this is frankly still unresolved. What I mean by that is, if you're a pure physicalist, you have to take the position, no, the causal chain of the universe is closed, yes? If we knew the position and the energy of all the particles, I should be able to predict what you're going to do next, yes? So if you're like God's data scientist or Laplace's demon, by the way, one way to conceive of data science is to make Laplace's demon real, or to make the demon real. Yes, Laplace's demon. So that's the idea.
Very quickly, what is the Laplace demon?
Laplace's demon is that. So Laplace pointed out, or maybe attributed to Laplace, is that if you knew the position and energy of all the particles in the universe, you could predict what happens next.
It's deterministic.
Determinism, yes. The universe is causally closed. And if you're a straight up physicalist, a physical materialist, I think that's what they believe, yes. That has to be the case, yes. But then what is this? Is this just a movie? It's then like a very 3D movie, yes. But it's already happened. There's no fate, I guess, like destiny, determinism. There's no reason to beat yourself up about what you did, because you could have not acted differently, yes. The problem is this really clashes with our subjective experience, yes. We do have the distinct experience that I could raise my hand or not. Even if you put a gun to my head, please don't. But let's say you did. I could have always done something else. And that's actually, I believe, the whole point of philosophy like existentialism. You could always do something else. Yeah. No matter what the circumstances are, you could always have chosen to do something else, yes. In other words, you are fully responsible for what you do, because you are responsible for what you do, yes? And what neuroscience would say is that this free will is an illusion, and here's why. About 300 milliseconds before you make the decision, before you act, the brain already made the decision on what to act. It's just that shortly after you made the decision, subconsciously, unconsciously, it tells you, your conscious perception, that that's what we're going to do, and then you do it. And so you think every time shortly after you made that decision mentally. So how about this? Shortly before you came up with this idea, you do it. Well, then you would think you have agency, yes? As an illusion.
It's an illusion of control.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are the research program of Benjamin Libet, yes? So who recorded from the supplementary motor area, yes? And yes, you can predict from that what someone is going to do or not do, yes? However, and I probably owe you this for your show notes, that whole research program has recently become, it's probably not true is what I'm saying, like for complicated data science reasons. But basically, if you select the electrophysiological trace, the EEG trace, conditioned on making an action or not an action, you basically have a selection bias problem. And it might not actually be true. But of course, you could say, even if this specific experiment is not true, and I'll big check to cash that Libet was wrong, but he had a methodological problem, which is complicated. We'll not go there in detail, but I'll send you the link. But let's say, even if that's not true, if you're, physicalist or a neuroscientist, you would have to say, yeah, obviously I can predict from your brain activity. What are you going to do? And some people say you can do that up to 10 seconds, like John Dylan Haynes, for instance. But again, I would argue that as a person, you have to act as if you were responsible, because if you don't, well, then you're not going to do anything. Then if you say, well, everything is predetermined, it doesn't matter what I do or what I want to do. What I want to do makes no difference. Then probably you're not going to do much. Yes.
Is it a defeating feeling?
It probably would be. Yeah. That seems completely pointless.
Yeah.
Everything is already preordained.
Yep.
Isn't it? So it's very ironic. It creates a self.
Even you feeling defeated about it.
Yes, I'm saying.
It
creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. So as a human being, you have to act as if it makes a difference. And this is something that I think a lot of these physicalists don't fully realize. If, as a finance person, if you could convince your colleagues that the market's going to crash tomorrow, then it will. This self-fulfilling prophecy will create the reality that it will crash. So be careful, okay? Like, so there's something with human beings that goes beyond what you believe is, will create its own reality, yes? Half Greek tragedies are like, it's basically the plot of half the Greek tragedies. And there's
manifesting.
Also, yeah, it manifests. And just to, not to get too far, but just briefly, this is also very real historically. I'll give you an example from Roman history. I think it was the year 222 AD. The emperor was Caracalla, yes? And a mystic in North Africa went around saying that this other guy, Macrinus, I think he was the praetorian prefect of Caracalla, will murder Caracalla and become emperor himself. Okay? So mystic said that. That's what's going to happen. Macrinus was like, yo, you got to shut up about this because you're going to get us all killed, okay? Yeah. Then the mystic said, no. This is, I'm a mystic and my visions have integrity. I will not recant. Yes, this is religion. This is not a trick. This is very serious. You will kill Caracalla and you will become emperor. That's like preordained, right? Macrinus, and then this report went back to the Praetorian Guard in Rome. They sent a dispatch to Caracalla, who was in the Middle East at the time. But Macrinus, as the head of the Praetorian prefect, intercepted that report and then was like, wow, if Caracalla reads this, he's going to kill me right now. So I have to murder him right now. And that's what happened. And he murdered him and he did become the next emperor. And then the prophecy became real. So with people, you have to be very careful. Like if you tell me such and such is going to happen, and if I want that or not, my action might make that happen or not happen. So life is very ironic like that. So it goes beyond physical reality. If a human being believes something might happen, their actions will then be colored by that. So if I believe that my actions don't make a difference, because there's no actions, then I'll probably not take any actions. And then ironically, they won't make a difference because I won't do anything. So if you want people to make an impact in the world, you have to make believe that they do. And just to be clear,
which is the wrong belief. Like you have to believe in this fictional narrative.
But hear me out.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the irony of the world.
Yep.
Something doesn't have to be true to be useful. Let's say you have kids, and I don't think you have. I don't see any here. Let's say you have the kids. You want to control their behavior. And you want them to become good human beings who have strong moral beliefs. You might tell them there's Santa Claus, and if you want gifts from Santa Claus, you have to be a decent human being. You have to follow all the rules. Obviously, there's no Santa Claus, and obviously, it's not Santa Claus who gives them the gifts. But you also, from a neuroscience perspective, you can say, well, if they're below, say 10, they might not understand moral philosophy. So this is the way you have to tell them that. So is that wrong to tell them that? It's obviously wrong that there's Santa Claus. That's not true. But it can still be useful to teach them moral beliefs in a mind space that they understand. That makes sense. So with people, it could be objectively false that there's such a thing as free will. But you would have to organize life and society as if there was, because nobody's going to do anything. And then ironically, it wouldn't do anything. So life is very there's like levels to this, And I would say all of that transcends physical reality. So even if it's true that this is all an illusion, believing the illusion will basically undo the illusion, because then you will act as if you had it. Because otherwise you wouldn't. Which makes it true. Which is like, whoa. Let me tell you something. I tell my students up front in my Principles Data Science class that there are 3 goals that the class has. I'll tell them there's a fourth hidden goal, secret goal. And there might or might not be a 5th goal. The very last day, so if anyone's watching this, the very last day, It's the big reveal. I'll tell them what the fourth goal was. And I'll tell them there was no fifth goal, but the fact that there could have been one is my implicit fifth goal because it makes them aware the difference between risk and uncertainty. Yes. So was there a goal or wasn't there a goal? Because there was no real goal, but the fact that they started to become aware that there might be a difference between known unknowns and unknown unknowns is a goal in itself. So was there a goal or was there no goal? So again, life is very, very deep and paradoxical, which just shows me we don't have the brain power to really understand what's going on, including free will.